In this video, we're going to break down 7 reasons why God is real. So buckle up, fasten the seatbelt, it's about to get real. Number 1, the concept that something cannot come from nothing. Think about everything around you. That cannot just come into existence or be built from nothing. Something had to create that. Think about food. Food doesn't just pop into existence. It had to be created from something. Houses, tables, none of those things just pop into existence from nothing. So now think about the earth. With that same idea in mind, the earth couldn't have been created from nothing. Something had to create it. And a lot of atheists would argue that the Big Bang Theory created the universe, and it was an explosion that created the universe. But how could that thing that exploded have come into existence? Something had to have created the thing that exploded. And science has proven that the earth has not been around for forever. So the idea that God created this universe really is the best explanation of how this planet was created. Point number 2, design demands a designer. If you look around and you look at nature, think about the mountains, the trees, the plants, the fruit for us to eat that tastes amazing to us, the sunrises and the sunsets, the flowing rivers for us to drink from and clean ourselves. Think about the animals, the birds, the dog, the lions, the frogs, all of the animals of the world working in harmony together to create an ecosystem that balances everything out and works perfectly with one another to sustain life. And then think about people. Think about our eyes and how complex that is. Think about our brain. Think about our hands. I mean, everything works perfectly together. So the odds that a random explosion happened and created all these things that work perfectly with each other are incredibly low. I mean, what are the odds that that would happen? When does like perfect design ever come from an explosion? So every time I've seen an explosion, absolute chaos and destruction comes as a result. So it really almost takes more faith to believe that God doesn't exist than to believe that he does. Because, I mean, look around. Everything is made so well by a highly intelligent being. Point number 3, the consistency of the Bible. Everything in the Bible is true, and nothing in the Bible has been proven false. And one of the most mind-blowing parts of the whole Bible is that hundreds of prophecies have been fulfilled. Hundreds of them. And the odds that any of these prophecies would be fulfilled are extremely low. And the fact that all of them came true and all of them have been fulfilled is incredible evidence on its own. And the odds of hundreds of future prophecies being fulfilled is honestly one of the most compelling reasons why Christianity is the true religion. We obviously don't have time to go over the hundreds of prophecies that have been fulfilled, but I definitely recommend looking into them. A lot of them being fulfilled hundreds of years later, thousands of years later. How else does that happen other than all-knowing God that is living outside of time, that was here at the beginning, and can already see what's happened in the future? So I actually can't just go into all Bible prophecies that have happened. So I'd recommend checking out this article right here. To summarize though, Hugh Ross, this guy, concludes that the odds of all of the biblical prophecies that have being true is a 1 in a 10 to the 1,000th power. So that is a number with 1,000 zeros in it. Like, I don't think we can even fathom that number. So that's the odds of all of the biblical prophecies that being true. He goes on to say, to visualize this tiny probability, just imagine winning the California lottery 10 consecutive times with the purchase of just 1 ticket each time. That chance is about 1 in 10 to the 80th. So the probability of this is equivalent to winning the California lottery 125 consecutive times, purchasing just 1 ticket each time. Think about that. Winning the lottery 125 straight times in California. Those are some crazy odds right there. So it really takes more faith to not believe that God is real than to believe that he is. The odds that God is not real is literally 1 in 10 to the 1,000th power. So that's absolutely insane. He goes on to cite 10 different Bible prophecies that came true and lists the probability of each one being true. So if you guys are curious, I'd recommend going in and reading each one. But for the sake of time, we don't have time to do that. We have to keep moving. Point number 4. If God does not exist, then objective moral values do not exist either. And there are things that we just know as people are true. Like, we intuitively know deep down inside that killing another human being is wrong. Like, we deep down inside know that's not right. And we know that's wrong because we can look at God's moral code and see that that's wrong. It's the idea that moral law demands a moral lawgiver. And deep down inside, you know that it's wrong to lie to someone or to steal from someone. We know that intuitively it's wrong to sin, and that intuition comes from God writing it on our hearts. And it just points to us getting our moral compass from God instead of it being like relative to like different cultures or societies or individuals. Without God, some argue moral values would become a product of human culture, evolution, or personal choice, leading to moral relativism, which would mean that moral values could vary between cultures, societies, and individuals, and there would be no universally accepted standards of right or wrong. And this would make moral values arbitrary and ultimately meaningless. But we inherently know that murdering someone is wrong, or punching a random guy in the face is wrong. Like, everybody knows that. So I don't know if any of this is making sense. It's kind of a complex argument. So if you're not fully on board with it, which I would definitely understand 45 seconds into a YouTube video of some random guy blabbing on about what's right and wrong, I'd recommend checking out these videos, any one of them, really any video made by this guy. He knows a lot more about this concept. He's been doing this for a lot longer than me. Point number 5. The Bible is freaking incredible. Check this out.
This is a graph that shows the handiwork of God. What you're seeing here is every cross-reference in the Bible that is overt. This bar graph down here are all the books of the Bible and chapters. The length of it is the number of verses in the chapter, and I want you to see every one of these lines that connects, the darker the line, the more hyper connections, and it has a rainbow of pictures to show how interconnected the Bible is. Guess how many connections in the Bible? 63,000 connections in the Bible. If this was by one man, we would say this man is a master. The problem is this is written by 40 different men over 1,500 years on 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa, in 3 different languages, Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. And the entire book tells one united story. It's all connected together. You find me another book in all of human civilization.
Wow, dude! Look at that! Woo! That's some good stuff right there. Alrighty, we need to get straight on into this thing. We got the light coming in on me right now from the craziest angle. God is watching. We need to perform. This is Patrick Bet David. He runs this YouTube channel. He has 6.2 million subscribers. He's reached almost 2 billion people. This is the guy right here. I've gotten a lot of great advice from him. Check out this video.
Break it off. And she leaves. I'm in the car, expedition. This is 1:30 in the morning at this point. We finished the movie. And I said, God, I haven't spoken to my mom for 5 years, but if you exist, I would love to talk to my mom. 30 seconds later, my Nextel, I get a call from a block number. Brother, this is like I've told the story. It's a very weird moment, scariest moment for me. I don't want to answer the phone. And it's one of those Nextels, well, you know, the flip phones.
Yeah.
And I flip it, and it's my mom crying. So why are you crying? She says, I got the feeling you were in pain. How'd you get this number?
Wow.
She says, you know, I just got it 6 months ago. I said, but do you know what I'm going through right now? What are you going? I said, no, nothing. But I don't know how to talk to her. I hang up the phone. I sat in that car that night, top of the hills, chills all over my body. I'm like, oh my God. Either this is ironic or this is real, but the level of coincidence is a little too real. I could have chosen to say it's ironic. I chose to believe it was God, and he has my back, and he's had my back from day one. That level of confidence I got from that moment that somebody was watching me and had my back is the reason why I am where I'm at today. I make my decisions purely knowing he has my back. And if you ask me what's one of my biggest fears, one of my biggest fears in my life is losing his favor. I can't tell you how much that scares the hell out of me.
Wow, dude! You thought that one was good? Check this one out then.
I said to God, A, I don't think you're real. But if I'm wrong and you have a plan for my life, prove it. 2 weeks come and go. I didn't even remember praying that prayer. There was zero faith attached to my prayer. And as I was dialing a phone, checking on a shopping center we were building in Beckley, West Virginia, off behind me to my left, I audibly heard the voice of God. And the 2 words he spoke to me were, call Mom. I didn't hesitate. I had a second line. I dialed 344-7443. The phone rang 6 times, 7 times. On the 8th ring, my mother answered the telephone. And when she said hello, instantly I knew something was terribly wrong. For in that instant in time, when I hear God say to me, call Mom, and I did so, my mother was, watch this, attempting suicide. I ran out of my office, ran past Sharon, jumped into my car, drove up Interstate 75 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I beat on the door that day. My mom was barely alive, and she came down some stairs. She fell into my arms. I picked her up. I carried her to her car. I drove her to Park Ridge Hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and as we drove, she looked over at me. She says, Dean, I can't be dying. And I said, Mom, hang on. You're not going to die, but you're going to have to choose to live. I get her to a hospital that day. A doctor threw me against the wall. They rushed her to the emergency room. 45 minutes later, this doctor walks across the ER to my father. I get a little closer to my dad, thinking we're going to hear the time of death pronounced. But this doctor has the most perplexed look on his face, and he said, Mr. Sykes, there's no medical reason to tell you this at all. It is a, quote, miracle of God. Your wife's fine. You can go see her. I heard that doctor say miracle of God. I looked straight up to heaven. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're real? I took a walk that day. I could take you to the spot in Park Ridge Hospital where I leaned against the wall and I had an encounter with Jesus.
Wow, dude. I don't know, man. Might be something to these stories. If you feel like this is a video that would be good for more people to watch, maybe consider liking the video, drop a comment down below, and share it with a friend. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you later.